Please give it up for Heather Matarazzo. There you go.
Hi, thank you. Good morning. Good morning.
Thanks. Settle in, relax a bit, make yourself comfortable.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Just diving into the deep end, first part of the day.
Yeah. So have you done very many Comic-Cons before?
I've done enough.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Less than some, more than others.
Okay.
Yeah.
But first time in Pittsburgh, though, right?
Yes. Yes.
Well, welcome.
Thank you very much.
So I have a handful of questions. They might have a handful of questions. And then are you going to be headed to your table after this?
Yes.
Okay. So if you didn't have a chance to ask a question or you're too shy to ask a question, make sure and head over to Heather's table for an autograph and all that stuff. Okay. So you played a wide range of characters. Dawn, and welcome to the Dollhouse. Lily and Princess Diary. What draws you to a role, and how do you choose your projects, especially even like now?
I mean, I think that it's they choose me as much as I choose them. I feel like it's. I think Robert Downey Jr. had said this, where it's like the roles that he's seeking are also seeking him, and it always starts with the script, and if the writer has done a solid job of laying out the emotional blueprint for the story, and it's something that I intuitively connect with, that I feel I'm right for, I usually end up doing it. And then there are some cases where I think I'm right for the thing, and other people don't think I'm right for the thing, and then I find out later that I've dodged a bullet, so it always works out.
So I just have another question about Welcome to the Dollhouse.
Yeah.
What was the audition process like, and what did you think of when you first read a script that challenging?
Well, I originally auditioned for The Friend of Dawn, and that role ended up getting cut. And that same day, they asked if I would audition for Dawn, and I did. And then I went for a callback a few days later, and when I read the script, it really was, to me, just a PG version of what goes on in junior high, and there's a brutal honesty to Todd's work, that I really connected with, and I definitely saw aspects of self in Dawn, and I think it's why it resonates so much across the board with people, because we all have moments of feeling like a misfit or an outcast, and so desperately wanting to be part of a group, and not isolated. So, yeah.
So you started acting at a pretty early age. How did it impact your sense of identity, both personally and professionally, getting started that early in the entertainment industry?
Oh gosh, that's an interesting question. I mean, I don't know that I have an answer for you, because it has been my whole life. And I think that just as human beings, going back to Plato and Socrates, like, who are we? Why are we here? What is our purpose? And as I've gotten older, that has evolved. But at the core for me, I love movies, and I love storytelling, and I love getting to be a steward of stories, and I love getting to be an artist. It's my lifeblood. It's what I've always been,
So a good follow-up that, as you do more and more roles, does acting ever come easier to you, or do you have a same method that you?
No, I mean, there's no method to the madness. I think I suck all the time. I'm always worried that I'm gonna get fired. I really don't like watching my work. And what keeps me coming back is that those instances where you're connecting with your fellow actor and you're so present and just this magic happens that just gives you goosebumps that you can't take credit for, because it almost has nothing to do with you. And it's and that to me is the ultimate, you know. So it's yeah, I just I have a very harsh inner critic, and as I've gotten older, I think I've learned to not silence that voice, but at least learn how to engage in a dialogue that will be helpful and not harmful.
So do you consider yourself like naturally acting, or did you have to like train a lot? Just comes to you?
Yeah, I mean, it's, yeah, I never had any formal training. I started working when I was 7. And it's always just been an intuitive process. And there are definitely, you know, some things where I might work with somebody if I have a specific audition and it's like 16 pages and the character is really complex and I don't have a full script available that I can read and I just need some help sussing out some beats. Yeah, but other than that, you know, didn't go to Juilliard, didn't go to Yale, and definitely not method. I think that is the most obnoxious, pretentious excuse to just be an asshole.
But how do you really feel? No, I'm just So you've worked with some really iconic filmmakers and co-stars. Is there a particular collaboration that had a lasting impact on you?
My favorite co-star of all time was Tagalong Turman, my wife's dog, that I met when we were doing the movie Stuck, my favorite co-star of all time, and she rules our house with an iron paw. And no, I mean, I have been very fortunate to work with a slew of different artists, and with each project that I do, I learn something about myself personally and or professionally. And I've been very lucky that about like 90 to 95% of the filmmakers that I've worked with are not only talented, but they know how to speak to actors, which I think is essential, you know.
Did you ever think you'd want to direct or do you do
I
any
mean,
writing?
I did a wee bit of directing some years ago. It's the idea of it sounds lovely. The reality of it, that thing of like, I want to do it, which really means I have no interest. I don't really care. And I love writers more than anything. So if I was really ever going to do anything, it would be write. And then I would direct what I wrote, because I think that writers can make the best directors, you know, because it is their story. It did come from them, so they know the nuance of a scene better than, you know, somebody else who's, you know, just, okay, I've read this and this is my interpretation of the thing, you know.
Are there any roles or genres you feel you haven't explored yet but like to tackle?
I mean, I don't know that I've done a thriller as of yet. I don't think so. Yeah, for me, the genre doesn't matter as long as the script and the story and the characters are solid.
I have a few more questions, and we'll
Yeah.
get to. I know it's still early yet.
Oh, good.
What advice would you give young actors who are like trying to navigate the challenges of like the film industry, or just don't do it?
Just don't do it. Just don't do it. Really, it's create your own stuff, write your own stuff, collaborate. Like what are the local community theaters? Like are there acting troops? The community colleges or the state colleges, or like writers groups. Like how many of in your friend group are writers or directors or prop masters or really into photography and lighting a scene, and then you get to come together and collaborate, where it's like, would you write this for me? Like, this is a story that I would like to tell, whatever it is. You do whatever you have to do, and that's the thing. It's even if you never make any money from it, or even if it really is at the end of the day, why do you want to do it? If you want to do it to be famous, just become like a brand influencer, but if you really want to act, you will find a way to act regardless.
So, do you ever think of like if someone says, if they go to you, goes, I really want to be an actor. How do I find it in myself to do this? Is it as a personal journey, or do you think you can actually give people words of advice to actually?
I mean, life is a personal journey. Being an artist is a very personal journey, and it's also a collaboration. You're only as good as the people that you're working with. And I think that having access to a library card is essential, and getting to read as much as possible, whether it is, and watching movies, and not just the stuff that's current, though that is important, but Fellini, there's a ton of information available, though we're slowly starting to lose it. Yeah, I think just absorbing yourself in it is essential.
Do you have any favorite films?
Oh gosh, I'll tell you two recents that I just saw that I absolutely loved. One was an independent film called Ojai, which is total of 4 characters, 1 location, which producers love, and just a really, really, really intimate story that I thought was quite beautifully done. And then just saw the most recent Superman, which I thought was brilliant and incredible. Yeah, I love film, period. Oh, and just saw the newest Naked Gun, which, I mean, so great. And I'm so happy for Pamela Anderson, and I think she's so wonderful. Yeah, my wife and I, we watch movies all the time, like all the time. And there's a place about an hour away from us that sells physical media for $1.50. So we will go with like a large bag, like once every couple of months, and buy between 80 to 100 DVDs. No, it's important. Physical media is important. If you look at, there was something I was just trying to watch, Young Frankenstein, the Mel Brooks film, and it's not available anywhere for streaming. And then I'd found that it was on YouTube, and I went to watch it there. And then, as you do with your phone, you're get distracted, do something, and then I swiped up and closed out the YouTube, and then when I went to try to find it again, I couldn't. And the Internet Archive is also a really great resource. But yeah, there's all of these classics that are slowly starting to disappear. And that's why I think physical media really is so important. I think Christopher Nolan just said something about that in the last few days. Wow. Yeah.
Never really thought about that. So your collection has got to be amazing.
We've got a lot. We've got a lot. I'm very excited to get more, and occasionally a DVD won't work. Like I just gotten Overboard that I was really excited to watch, Goldie Hawn, Kurt Russell, that Gary Marshall directed, and put it in the DVD player and nothing happened, and but finding the dud is very once in a blue moon.
So do you enjoy watching films more at home or going to the theater? What's the difference for you?
It depends on the film. It depends on the film, and I think it can be really exciting to watch a movie with an audience. It's church. Mm-hmm. It's a sacred space. It's a place where we enter this cinema with the lights down as strangers, and then we have a collective experience, and we might have a moment where we just turn to us like, oh, can you? And it's like, I don't know you, and yet we connect in this moment, especially if it's like a real tearjerker. I remember seeing The Hours at Union Square Theater in New York, and there wasn't a dry eye in the house. And that is something that is really special and sacred, where we all feel safe enough to disarm our hearts for a few hours, and we leave that theater changed.
And that's the job of cinema. That is excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent answer. One more question, and then we'll head over to the audience. Yeah. What are you currently working on now, and what do we have to look forward to in the future from you?
Well, Wednesday just came out 2 days ago, so there's that. And then Princess Diaries 3, we start shooting in March. And in the meantime, just getting to be at home with my babies and getting to garden and do some woodworking and enjoying some time off.
And it's so nice you found some time to visit us, too.
I'm so happy to be here.
Very nice. Let's grab a few questions, and then she's going to be headed back to her table to sign and hang out and relax and catch your breath. Yeah. So any questions, just raise your hand right down front.
Hi.
She'll bring a microphone over for you.
All right, hello, Heather. Wonderful to have you with us.
Thank you.
I just want to say before I get to my two-part question, wonderful job you did as Martha Meeks in the 3rd and 5th Scream movies.
Thank you.
I really hope you come back for the 7th one, because you were the best.
Thank you.
And I also want to say great job as Lily in the Princess Diaries movies.
Thank you.
All right, so my two-part question is, what inspired you to pursue acting in the first place, and what would be your favorite projects, the ones that you did overall?
Well, it's like, I don't know if acting chose me or I chose it. It's just, I had found my calling very early, and it wasn't something that I had, a conscious thought about. It just, I was and am. And in terms, like the question of projects, it's like I have 4 animals at home. I have 2 dogs and I have 2 cats. And if you were to ask me who my favorite is, I couldn't give you an answer because they're all my favorite for very different reasons, And so each project that I do, the day that I don't come away from a project having learned something about myself and about the world is the day that I need to retire. I really, really feel that I'm always learning and forever a student, and the biggest thing for me is just continually remaining curious, you know, so I hope that answered your question. Yeah.
All right, we have another question. Right there, down front.
Hi, welcome to Pittsburgh.
Thank
Hopefully
you.
you'll come back this way and do some filming around here sometime.
I'd
Hey,
love that.
I know that whenever you go into acting and, go out for like an audition and stuff, it's really hard to go ahead and try to get in different characters, okay? Do you have any recommendations in regards with that about, reading a script and then all the way connecting to the character? Because you can act, but portraying the person that you're trying to is the most difficult part, because that's what draws everybody in.
Again, I feel like it's, there are some roles that like if I have an audition for something and I read the sides and I read the script and I know I'm not right for it. I know, I can see it on, like, they want this person. They don't want me. Like, cause you can just, I remember I once was sent an audition for somebody in their 60s. I'm closer to 60 than I was 10 years ago, but I don't look 60, at least hopefully. Not that there's anything wrong with looking 60. We'll see how I look at 60. And I remember calling my reps and being like, I don't want to waste their time and I don't want to waste mine. And she was like, just go and do it anyway. Just go and do it anyway. And I went and I did it. I did not get it. And the person that I thought, like, Jane Lynch is Jane Lynch. Everybody knows who Jane Lynch is. She has a very specific energy. They wanted a Jane Lynch energy, which I do not have. I have my own unique energy. And that role that I auditioned for ended up going to none other than Jane Lynch, And so my wife and I will get into these conversations sometimes about actors and roles, and she's always talked about energy and essence and whatnot. And I used to really disagree with her, and now I know to a greater degree that, she's right. Like, we've got one Meryl Streep for a reason. Like, Meryl Streep can do everything and anything. And yeah, so it's I hope that answered your question in the space of, I'm either gonna fall flat on my face and fail to portray somebody, or I'm not. But it's also not my business. Like, if I have a solid actor that knows what they're doing and they're like, we need a little more of this and we need a little less of this, then it's great. I can give that to you. I take direction quite well, sometimes too well. Yeah, I'll share this story because it speaks to what I'm saying. I was doing Princess Diaries, and Gary had given me a specific direction, and he's brilliant director. And he was like, all right, Heather, I want you to go and do the thing and chuffa, and then I want you to walk into the bush. Okay. So I go and I do the thing, and I chuffa, 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 and then I walk into the bush. Cut. Heather, what are you doing? Why are you going in the bush? Well, Gary, you told me to do the thing and then walk into the bush. I literally walked into the bush, and I was standing there very awkwardly, like half inside this bush. You know, so it's, yeah, like, I mean, at the end of the fucking day, like, I don't fucking know. I don't know how I do what I fucking do. I don't understand it. Like that's it. Like, it can suck. It cannot suck. Again, it's not my fucking business. You know, like, I've been doing this for 35 years, so I must be doing something right. You know, but we'll see if they give me another 35.
There you go. I think that's all the time we have.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And I know
You're so
there'll be another
welcome.
30. Here's to another 35.
Thank you.
Heather Matarazzo, the first Q&A of the day. Head to her table, hang out with her.